Take a look. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of the Canadian national anthem? It's February 21st, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. Jeremy Lambert is here. He had no idea that this was happening.
I can only offer up one response to that, Joel. Only one response.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. Because this is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
And here we go, because this is how good. The final. Ah, damn, that's good shit.
The best shit. Put some maple syrup in there.
We're in fantastic moods today for some reason.
Yeah, I wonder why. It's not like I was in the middle of doing an entirely different thumbnail when that news dropped and made us change everything. I basically took two old thumbnails and just meshed them together. If you can figure out which episodes they were, you win nothing. Maybe my respect and my questioning of how you have so much time on your hands.
It's the post Bad Blood episode, I assume, because it's the Rock finger nonsense, and the post Rumble episode because it's Jey Uso WrestleMania background.
Okay, hold on. So now I've got to actually do this because it's not that. Here's the problem. I label the episodes numerically, not by date, when I do the thumbnails. So episode 235, which is, yeah. When did Daniel Garcia decide to re-sign with AEW?
Oh gosh, that was a while ago. That might have been.
It was that weekend, whatever that was.
All right.
But yes, it was the final chapters. So finish the story. Maybe that's probably Bad Blood.
Yeah.
Like you said. Yeah, like you said. So there's that one. So it probably was that. The other one was actually fairly recent. It was from I think it was a couple of weeks ago when we talked about the triple threat that had been discussed with Rollins, Punk, and Roman. That's the same background, the WrestleMania logo. Okay. That's episode 290. This is episode 303 by my counts.
Wow, we've done 303 episodes of this fucking show.
Allegedly. Here's the thing. I may be off by one or two because there have been times where I've had to do the thumbnail while I was away, and that's on my MacBook. And I don't think about numbers on my MacBook, so I kind of have to, piece together, which episode is this? But we're definitely over 300, or at least right at 300.
Okay.
Hey, we're a daily show. This is what happens.
True. Yeah, we are daily now. Oh gosh.
Even when we were 3 times a week, we were still pumping out, 3 episodes a week.
Yeah.
We were going to hit it sooner than later. Dude, 300. I remember when we were making a big deal out of 100 episodes.
And now it's like, now you got to act like you've been there. Like, okay, 300 episodes, 400, 500. Well, maybe we'll do a celebration on 500. That's a lot of episodes.
Honestly, I'd rather just do annual celebrations at this point.
Oh, okay. Come on, 500. We gotta throw a little bit of a party for episode 500. It's not like we're gonna be there anytime soon. I mean, that's still 200 more episodes. That's a long ways away.
But someone do the math. What is that? 5? Is that 5 weeks? No, it's not.
5 weeks?
No, I messed up. I was thinking 5 and 20. I was thinking.
There's only 365 days in a year, Joel.
You're right. Sorry, I was thinking about the fact that 500 episodes would bring us to 1,000 hours, kind of. So it would bring us about like around 500 or 1,000 hours of content.
All right, fine.
So my math was getting all mixed up in my head.
Yeah, 500 is a ways away.
So we're about 200 and some odd days away.
200 some odd shows, not even days.
That's true. It's because we got weekends too.
Yeah, so
that's it. Hire someone to do the weekend shift. We're going to 7 days.
Not doing that. Sorry. Can't. I don't have the capacity to do weekend shows on top of 5 days a week.
I know the feeling. Remember when Kate and I had a show?
Allegedly, yeah.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Every time we talk about it, we're just like, that was a fever dream. That didn't really exist. Oh, anyway, hey, you just got the best intro to the show you've possibly ever got. Both of us literally did a bit, and Jeremy's was exactly as you expected, and nobody expected mine. People do miss Tim. I miss Tim too.
I saw you put on the Senators jersey in the middle of the intro. So here's behind the scenes. So I told Joel, I was like, "You're gonna play the Rock intro today?" He's like, "Oh, that's a good idea because I'm full of great ideas." And as the intro plays, I see him put on the Senators jerseys. I'm like, "What the hell is he actually doing?" And then I had no idea you were about to sing some Bare Naked Ladies. That's the new Dynamite intro for the week. By the way, that replaces me singing my terrible version of whatever song you had me sing on Wednesday.
I was going back and forth about what song would resonate with this chat, and it went between it was Bare Naked Ladies, and then it was Tragically Hip. It was going to be Courage because that's what they were playing at the end of the broadcast in Canada as they were lifting the banner and doing the photos. And I was like, oh, Tragically Hip, okay, could do that. And then we were asking some American friends. My wife and I were talking, and my wife's not a music person. Like everything about me is the opposite when it comes to my wife. She's not a wrestling fan. She's not a music fan. Like Jeremy can attest to that.
Yes.
Like there are days where people are like, how are you two together? And I'm like, well, opposites literally do attract in this case. So, there was that. So we asked our American friends and they were like, oh, anything by Nickelback. And so I started trying to learn Rockstar.
And that's a good song though.
It was originally going to be Photograph. And then I'm like, that's way too high. Like you got to do the sustained, like screamy, yelly voice that he does. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, nope. And I got this thing in the back of my throat that I'm like, nope, can't sing it. Then I started doing a Rockstar, and I was like, okay, like it's low enough, and you could do the raspy voice, and it could work. Yeah. So then they were like, no, you know what? On second thought, Bare Naked Ladies, and I was like, oh, thank God, because I've done If I Had $1 Million a billion times.
When we went to Sum 41, Offspring, and Simple Plan the other year, Sum 41 introduces Fat Lip as the Canadian national anthem. They're like, all right, now play the Canadian national anthem. Oh, very hype.
That would have been fun. I should have thought about that.
Yeah,
especially with that's the thing. It's like I got to pick from what our audience is, and I don't know, because at one point my wife was like, do an Avril song. I'm like, oh, that's not a bad idea. And I'm like, I don't know what Avril song.
Losing Grip.
So I didn't know what to do. And then
Why should I care? If you don't care, then I don't care. We're not going anywhere.
Someone asking, where's the Cillian Love? She lives in America now. She belongs to the American streets. It's fine. Thank you for.
If you did Rockstar, I would have done that with you. It's a banger song. Love Rockstar.
No, standing in line and I was like, okay, I can do this.
I'm doing standing in line because I'll never get in. It's like the bottom of the ninth, and I'm never gonna win. This life ain't turned out quite the way I want it to be.
So what you want?
I want a brand new house on an episode of Cribs, bathroom I can play baseball in. Hold on. Bathroom I can play baseball in, and a king-size tub big enough for 10 plus me.
So tell them what you want.
I need a credit card that's got no limit and a big black jet with a bedroom in it. Gonna join the Mile High Club at 37,000 feet.
Why does he have to memorize and
done that? I want a new tour bus full of old guitars, my own star on Hollywood Boulevard. Somewhere between Cher and James Dean is fine with me. How you gonna do it? Gonna trade this life for fortune and fame. I'll even cut my hair and change my name. Cause we all just wanna be big rock stars and live in hilltop houses with 15 cars. Girls come easy and drugs come cheap. We'll all stay skinny cause it just won't eat. And we'll hang out at the coolest bars and the VIP with the movie stars. Every Playboy bunny with bleach blonde hair, every good gold digger's gonna wind up there. And hey, I wanna be a rock star.
That song is really hard when you get to the chorus.
Hey, I wanna be a rock star.
Thank you. This entire episode is copyright struck. I'm going to report it.
I need something from my voice.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. This is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
And here we go. Ah, damn, that's good shit.
It's so much higher. I was just thinking of the song. I was like, because we all just want to be big. You got to get up there. Anyway, not important. Oh, God. My wife's probably like, what is he doing? It's perfect. It's good. Don't worry about it. Plenty to talk about today. Let's get a couple super chats. By the way, leave a thumbs up. You're 12 minutes in. If you haven't left a thumbs up for whatever we've been doing, there's no hope for you in this morning's show. We don't know what. Busted Open could never. Okay. First of all, none of their cast and crew are Canadian. So, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, no diversity there.
There's no diversity. There's no Canadiana. It's fine. They listen. They have a few women who are fantastic, and we like them great. But there's no. Come on. There's no Canadiana. There's no CanCon. You don't get that. You get it here. Right from here. Go Sens go. And also you can subscribe to the channel here at Fightful Overbooked. Again, if our singing didn't do it, then I don't know what will. Your super chats go a long way though. We love it. Volub's already asking for another sip of mana for Dwayne. We'll get there. Oh, are you going to do it?
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. This is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
And here we go. God damn, that's good shit. It gets smoother and like easier to go down the more I drink of it. That's thing.
That's how problems. That's how problems persist. Lab Glass says, "Happy Mana Day." Oh, you
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. This is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
And here we go. Damn, that's good shit.
I hope you have water for the rest of the show.
My poor lovely wife is like, please don't get drunk at 10:15 a.m. Well, baby, how about 10:30?
Yeah,
I got sweet tea. I got sweet tea today. I got a whole nother cup of sweet tea in the fridge that my wife might have to bring me here shortly.
Rare Beast adding, put some water in the cup, bust it open with never. Oh, God.
Oh.
Ken Bruno sending a super chat saying, today's In the Weeds is brought to you by Terramana, Canada, Nickelback, Avril Lavigne, Mana, and potentially intoxicated Jeremy Lambert. That's good shit.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. This is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
And here we go. Damn, that's good shit.
Let's go. Maggie's in the chat.
Numb.
No, it will be. You won't be able to speak more than you normally wouldn't. Oh, God. Maggie's in the chat, coexisting with Rob and Maggie's fantastic. Check them out Fridays around the 3 o'clock hour here on Fightful Overbooked. Just like, sure, let's drink while I'm at work. Hey, ditch work. And also, where are all the Canadian wrestlers is a good question. I put out something on Blue Sky and on Twitter, and I said, hey, Canadian wrestlers, hit me up. If you want to gloat on this show, go ahead and do it. If you hear my voice, Canadian wrestlers, and you want it, just hit me up on one of those apps, and we'll get you the link for the show so we can gloat about Canadian supremacy. Welcome to the 11th province.
I assume you watched the game last night, did you?
So because I was covering TNA, I was kind of in and out, but I did
really
get to see the end of it,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
I would say the third period started when TNA was over, so you should have at least caught the third period and the overtime. But
yeah, I mean, again, talking about pulling up back the curtain.
Oh, right. I forgot you do the post show, so that actually doesn't help.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm doing the post show, but second of all, Cresta and I will normally chat for a few minutes after the show and just kind of catch up and clown around and stuff. And then afterwards, I have to do the audio, so I've got to separate both post shows and then get all the stuff from YouTube and just carry it over to our podcasting platforms and things like that. So I was able to do it because I've got multiple screens going, but I was able to watch the last little bit of the game, which was fantastic. I was happy just to see what I got to see, and just watching the goal was good enough for me. Even though Conor McDavid does not deserve to have that accolade.
It was a really fun game, and the whole tournament was fantastic. Like, maybe this is my lack of American pride showing. I don't really care. Our country sucks. but like I was kind of happy that Canada won. It didn't bother me that Canada won. I wasn't like dejected or anything. Like my 3 favorite players in the league. Oh, I shouldn't say that. My 2 favorite. I love Devontae. He's not my top 3, but McKinnon and McCarr are my top 2. They play for Team Canada, so I'm like, well, I'm not mad that my 2 favorite players got a big accolade and won this tournament. USA didn't have any Avalanche players. I root for my hockey team. I don't care about my country.
I get it. And Maggie's adding that there's a dude that looks like Josh Alexander at the bar right now. I can make him join you. Maybe not. But then she also adds, he's a bass player. Of course he's drunk. I'm a bass player. I'm not drunk either. What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
You might get contact buzz with all that I'm drinking.
Oh, seriously. It's going to be one hell of a day. Where should we? I don't even know where to start anymore. Like, I'm gonna pull it up because I know people want to talk about it. Elijah has joined TNA Wrestling.
You called this.
I did. So on last Friday, I explained to everyone that I had my Walter White Heisenberg Hank on the toilet epiphany while I was doing the dishes on Friday morning. And I said, Elijah's going to challenge Joe Hendry. And we talked about it on the Friday show, and I brought it up immediately. And yes, this was Joel was right. The assist does go to Sean Ross Sapp, of course, because he had reported that TNA was talking with Elijah. And then he came out on the show, on the live episode of Impact that aired last night, and he is part of TNA. Fightful Select reported that Elijah has signed a deal with TNA. He will be with the brand for a little bit. Don't know how long, but regardless, he's there, and it looks like he's going to come in at the top because he immediately aligned himself with Joe Hendry, the TNA World Champion. I don't think that's going to last very long. Feels like we'll be doing Elijah and Joe Hendry at Sacrifice in a couple of weeks. Once the spoilers are out tonight, if you read them, you'll probably find out that the match is official.
These live Impact shows, they're big gets here. They've done the same bit twice, by the way. Joe Hendry comes out, gets interrupted. And the big interruptions have been Matt Cardona, which, fine. The Colognes and Elijah. Like, okay. Feels a little weak for these live shows. Like, you're just running the same thing. It's like, Joe Hendry comes out, he gets interrupted, and it sets up the main event, which is not bad as a premise of do the opening segment. You love the through line stuff. So do the opening segment, set up the main event. Again, not terrible, but when the surprises are Matt Cardona and Elijah and the Colognes, feels a little weak.
So this goes back to what I've been saying when it comes to just the Joe Hendry side of things. They don't have anybody set up right now immediately for Joe Hendry, and he hasn't had a serious contender. He hasn't had a serious story. Bringing in Elijah is another non-serious story because the through line here is they both play guitar, and they both took issue with the Colognes, who also debuted that night. This was the other thing I talked about on the post show, by the way. 3 out of 4 of the people in your main event match were more important than your world champion because they were new to the company that night. So as a result, your world champion still doesn't look that great. And people pointing out there were issues with the sound and the syncing with Impact when it started on Thursday. And that was also the concert. So like that kind of screwed things up for some people. Regardless, yeah, listen, they keep bringing people in for these live shows, and TNA's always been saying since the rebrand and even before that when they do tapings, they're going to rely on special guests to come in for the tapings once in a while, and you'll also have some newly signed contracts and some newly signed people like Elijah. There's no one big that's out there that they can land right now. That's really the big problem. So they have to make meals out of the Colognes, who are great tag team wrestlers, by the way, and have like an extensive popular background in Puerto Rico and in WWC, because that is their home base promotion. That is their ownership through their father. They're good. They're just not like top tier superstar caliber wrestlers. Like when Oba Femi shows up and gets the biggest pop of the night, and granted they're in Florida and it's at Full Sail, so like they know who he is. It's telling.
Not great that the crowd's chanting, "Where's Carlito?" when the Colognes are out there. Has Cardona been back on the show since the live episode?
Cardona?
Yeah,
No.
because they did the whole thing with.
He did.
Okay.
He faced Santana.
Oh,
They
right. Yeah.
Ali had him come out and do a thing.
Yeah. Okay. So they do. So Cardona was at least part of one show after that. JBL was part of the live show. He hasn't been back on the show, has he?
He only does live appearances. He's never once stuck around for a taping, which is just hilarious to me because they're in the exact same city the night after almost every live event they do. It's so funny and so weird. I don't think you'll be seeing him. I mean, at this point, the next live show is Sacrifice. I think he'll be at Sacrifice because it's in Texas and it's the big like Nick Nemeth returns from his suspension, which now they have Ryan Nemeth coming out and being like, my brother, which is hilarious. In now the countdown is on because Ryan Nemeth will come out every week and say, in X amount of days, my brother comes back at Sacrifice. But I think it's I seriously, I'm starting to really believe that it's JBL and Nick Nemeth at Slammiversary.
It just absolutely rules that Cardona was their big get for the first live show, and then JBL was a part of the main event, and then Cardona's done the one match after, which was more of a prelude to Ali, and JBL hasn't been back at all.
There's something missing at the top. Again, the Colognes. So I'm not going to spoil it, but I sent you the spoilers too. No. Like, people were asking if they're under a deal. We don't know yet. Okay. We're still trying to inquire, but it's more they are still part of the show next week, so they're at least making use of the Colognes beyond the live edition. Because if you were keeping track, they were doing a live show last night, but they were also taping week number 2 around that.
Yeah, it was
night.
Yeah.
And then tonight they're going to tape for the next 2 weeks as well beyond. So these sets of tapings take them all the way to Sacrifice, which is March 14th, which is a Friday night.
Yeah. Yeah. When you sent me the spoilers last night, I was like, oh, they taped stuff. They taped an episode afterwards. That's interesting. Like
they
more power to them.
Too, by the way, they did that last time as well.
Oh, did they? I don't recall.
Yeah. Cause there was the whole, like, did Tessa do the live promo that night?
Yeah. She did a live promo.
She did.
Yeah.
And then, okay, well, regardless, there was something that happened on the taping that anyway, because everyone was like, oh, they PW Insider had reported that particular taping included something between Tully and Tessa.
Yeah.
But nothing ever aired from those tapings that had Tully and Tessa. Don't know why, but that was always something I thought about. But yeah, they taped around the live stuff with some extra content.
Okay. Well, good on them. The show last night was fine. It existed, and I don't think it was like bad or anything. I do like the live aspect. I think live wrestling is just better than taped wrestling altogether. Maybe probably because I read spoilers, and so if it's taped, I know what's going to happen, and so it doesn't quite hit as well. Whereas a live show, there's obviously that mystery involved with it. But it was fine. TNA is just lacking something right now.
Yeah, but they're on the right track. But right now they're dealing with a lot of people who have left. Some of their bigger stars have left. 2 of their tentpole superstars have just left for different companies. 3 of them, if you count Speedball as well. So they've lost some very well-known and popular talent. And the person that they've replaced them with is not someone people want to see.
Them cutting to the crowd during those chants is a choice.
Let's talk about the chants real quick. For those who weren't watching, I'm sure the social media posts are going out there. Yeah. There were 4 chants directed at Tessa Blanchard. So the story with Tessa is that she's a bitch. That's the story that they're going with. She's above everyone and she's better than everyone. She's MJF, but the opposite of, anyway, not important. So she's being a bitch. The story was she was supposed to compete and they had a match lined up for her, but then she couldn't get cleared by the doctor because the doctor was checking out another wrestler when she walked up to the doctor and said, now you got to clear me. And the doctor was like, basically said, shut the fuck up. And told her, like, I will get to you when I'm not dealing with this emergency of a missed spit in her face.
Why did it take so long for her to get cleared? Like, she was advertised a week in advance. Why did she have to get cleared the day of? You'd think they'd get her cleared. It's not like she wrestled during this week. So you'd think they would get her cleared before the show goes on the air. Not, is this common practice in the world of professional wrestling? You get cleared like 2 minutes before you go out, not like the day of the show, like before the show goes on the air.
And they use a legit doctor now. So it was very strange. Someone saying she's MJF could have fooled me. The joke with MJF was that she's acting like she's better than you and she knows it. That was the joke, but it was very poorly explained by yours truly. So Tessa comes out and she's wearing her street gear and they pay attention to that. And I'm like, you're not going to do another live promo with her. Like that's just dumb. This is you're inviting and expecting this heat. And for some reason, TNA thinks this is the right way to handle this heat because people are booing vociferously. They're chanting, she's a racist again. And remember, they're in Florida this time. Last time it was Texas. This time it's Florida. Like, that's telling on every say. Anyway, she's a racist. Tessa, the door. And they're pointing to the backstage, telling me to get to the door, go. And then they start with, Tessa, we're coming for you. And if you don't know how that's appropriate right now, on NXT a few weeks ago, there was some audio that was released before the show went live. And it was somebody in the crowd yelling the Booker T, Hulk Hogan, we're coming for you. And they finished the sentence. That got cut off from the audio. It became this viral thing that went around. Now the crowd at NXT, when Booker comes out, is chanting it as a term of endearment at Booker. As he's coming out, they're going, Booker, we're coming for you. Booker, and he's laughing. And there's a video of him getting, like laughing as he gets his introduction done. They did it to Tessa, and believe me, it was not a term of endearment. But it also proved that there were a lot of NXT fans in that crowd at Full Sail. And man, and then when Santino came out and said, if you don't wrestle next week, you're fired, people were chanting, please don't wrestle, which was hilarious. But they just don't care. Someone's mentioning Orlando's chill. And that's the thing, like, just like Texas, I know that not everyone from Texas is a racist, and not everyone from Texas is like a piece of shit human being. And same thing with Florida. Everywhere you go, just it's what your state is known for in some cases. So with that in mind, they didn't even touch the sound. They just let it exist. They could have done something production wise, but they did nothing. They just let it happen.
They think this is good.
They
think this is good heat. They're like, oh, look how she's getting the crowd riled up. This is good stuff. So they're going to keep rolling with it. I imagine spoiler alert, she did wrestle on the tapings. I imagine she got similar chants. And I imagine they're not going to touch it there either because they think this is good and they think this is good heat and they want to encourage it. They view her as their top heel. They had Masha come out last night with the title and they did the confrontation. And I know Masha's wrestling Cora Jade at Sacrifice. After that, Tessa's probably up.
I guess that's the Rebellion match. Sure. Tessa and Masha.
Joel, we're a half hour into this show.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. This is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
And here we go. It's good shit. Unlike Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, after all that, I think we needed that. Where are we? Do you want to take a time? Do you want to time travel a little bit?
We got time machines now?
Yeah. The year is 2022. It's January. Things aren't on fire yet. That happens at the end of the night. It's the Royal Rumble. And ideas are coming back and forth. What should we do? Who should win the Royal Rumble? I like that Sasha Banks. Maybe Becky Lynch is ready. Who should come back? Who's going to win the Royal Rumble? I have an idea. Everyone looks and they say, what's your idea? They say, bring back Ronda Rousey. She's going to eliminate everyone and win the Royal Rumble. One person gets up and walks out of the room and says, oh, I am leaving. And as a result, things fall apart. Fightful Select reported that Vince McMahon had an insane idea for the Royal Rumble in 2022, wherein he wanted Ronda Rousey to run the gamut, eliminate all 30 women, win the Royal Rumble, effectively bury the division just because they had her on a full-time schedule at this point. And instead, we got the finish we got, where she was brought out number 28, spent 10 minutes in the match, eliminated 4 people and won. But meanwhile, Sasha Banks, who is now Mercedes Moné, had been heavily pitched to be the winner. But that's not what they went for. To the point where the cameos that were brought in for this particular event were just kind of told, get in and get out. You're just bodies in this match. And there was a lot of frustration around that. And 4 cameos, as reported by Fightful Select, were brought in, or at least the 4 people were rejected. They WWE asked them to join, and they rejected it. This includes Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, and Nia Jax. And at least one of them cited that TJ Wilson, not being a part of the Royal Rumble, was part of that reason.
Nia has publicly said TJ not being there was part of the reason. Nia has publicly said she was asked for that spot, and TJ not being there was a big reason why she didn't do it. Mind you, Nia had like just gotten released like 3 months prior to all of this. My timeline might be bad on that, but she had just gotten released not too long prior before being asked to come back. And yeah, she has publicly said TJ not being there was a reason. So I'll just add that to there. This idea that someone should eliminate 29 people is legitimately good. I don't care. Ronda Rousey, not the right person to do it. I will say that. I'm not going to defend Ronda Rousey should be the person to do it. No, that would have been bad. But like the actual idea of someone eliminating all other 29 people, legitimately good. Someone, I think it was Jason on Twitter, was like, and they should come in number 30. So you just have like all 29 in the ring, no eliminations, the whole match. And then whoever comes out number 30 just starts tossing everybody in like 2 minutes and then wins this Rumble. That would be amazing.
It was that was always one of my favorites. And of course, someone had now pitched the everyone's eliminated, like 29 people were eliminated. We count down 3, 2, 1, number 30, and the ring is empty. So number 30 automatically wins the Rumble. That would have been even funnier. That's coming. That day will happen. If the Indies don't do it, someone will. TNA is going to do it. What makes this even more infuriating for people who were following at that time is the fact that Rousey was just not interested in being there. And you saw it. Like I've talked about this so many times. Go back and watch the post-show comments that she made. They were like, what are you going to do next? She's like, I'm going to get on my bus and mac on my baby and then go to the next town. And she just seemed, she didn't want to be there. She didn't.
They screwed up that whole thing because like she was going to get booed. And of course, Vince wanted her as a face. She clearly wanted to be a heel. And it was just, the whole dynamic was off from the very beginning. And it didn't get better.
Not at all. Just not. So people are saying should have went with Mercedes. And yeah, they should have. But it is what it is. And it happened. And I know that was something that Sean had talked about reporting and putting out there. And he finally did. And it definitely got people feeling a certain way.
That was what, Ronda and Charlotte that year at Mania?
Yeah, that was the Big Dick episode, wasn't it? Oh no, that was Rhea. That was a different match.
Yeah. That was a good match. And then they had the I Quit match or whatever afterwards, the following pay-per-view Backlash. That was a good match between Ronda and Charlotte. I mean, Sasha and Charlotte would have been just as good and probably better, honestly.
Yeah, that was a story too.
Yeah, and a much better story. There was a story between Ronda and Charlotte.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Legitimately a good idea though. 29, throwing 29 people over because they always say it. That's why I did appreciate Logan Paul. Like, I don't need to eliminate 29 people. I just gotta eliminate one. I think it's always dumb when the people are like, I'm gonna eliminate 29 other people. Like, no, you're not. What if you come in at number 27? You're not eliminating 29 people. This would actually give credence to, oh yeah, this person did eliminate 29 other people. Someone should do it.
Well, this segment was brought to you by Jeremiah. Sore throat from being a rock star, hosting a 3-hour wrestling show 5 days a week. There's only one tequila that will help you level up and beat the final boss. Jeremiah. That's good shit. You know,
I can only assume that's the great Ken Bruno.
You bet.
Yeah.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. 'Cause this is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
And there we go. Damn, that's good shit.
The final boss is coming to handle business, deliver a big, beautiful gift to the city of New Orleans, and fuck up, those are his words, a certain someone's life with the final boss gospel. Hashtag SmackDown. The Rock is appearing tonight on SmackDown. And in the press release, Triple H says, everything could change in an instant. Strap in, he says. When the final boss shows up at this time of year, the audience knows absolutely anything is possible. Everything could change in an instant. What is The Rock about to do?
All right. So there's a serious answer, and then there's, of course,
Our answer.
the real answer. I got a extra sweet tea. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Wonderful. Great service.
I think he's gonna announce WrestleMania in New Orleans next year. I know that's already been put out there by other places. That was my first thought when I saw, oh, they're in New Orleans tomorrow. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's what I thought was going to happen. It was going to be a WrestleMania announcement for New Orleans next year. I feel like you have the same wavelength.
Yeah, I had even put so much in our group chat where I was in the middle of doing the thumbnail and I was like, oh, this ruins everything. And then I was like, even though it's pretty obvious to us that he's just going to come out and beat TKO Dwayne and say, New Orleans, you haven't had WrestleMania in too long, so we're coming back. And then he'll introduce Ricky Saints, and Ricky Saints will say, I've always wanted to work here. And The Rock will be like, who in the blue hell are you? And then Ricky will be like, I'm Ricky. It doesn't matter. And it'll be a whole thing. I don't think so, but that would be hilarious. They should just be doppelgangers. Ricky should come out looking like The Rock.
I don't think you want to bury Ricky Saints that quickly.
I do. It's fine. Everyone's already upset at him changing his name, so why not just go full bore?
Ricky might be able to take The Rock nowadays. Ricky can cut, you know?
All right.
Yeah.
Like cut? Or...
No.
He's upset other WWE legends, let's face it.
Yeah, Ricky's got some material. He has some material. But I mean, The Rock's going to get the bigger reaction regardless. So whatever. The Rock's going to call him a popcorn fart, and the crowd's going to go crazy.
What is a popcorn fart?
That's where you eat too much popcorn and
you get gassy.
Yeah, and like you can or
oh dear. Here's the wind up.
And it's where you you sit on a bunch of a bag of popcorn, like a kernel, like the kernels with unpopped, and you fart a bunch, and then you fart so much that the popcorn starts popping.
I don't think it gets that hot.
That's why it's called a popcorn fart, Joel. It can get that hot if you're sitting on it and farting a bunch.
Someone in the chat's asking if Ricky stands next to John Cena. Who does The Rock call Pebbles? Now The Rock loves John Cena now. They're best friends.
Yeah.
Big hugs and all that stuff. Yeah, so Dwayne's going to be on the show. Yes, it feels like it's going to be a WrestleMania announcement, but let's face it. The show is not fun if not coming up with ridiculous other options, the real answers as to why The Rock is appearing on SmackDown. What will he say?
I do think there is a legitimate chance they announce or he sets up a match with Roman at WrestleMania. I think there's a legitimate chance at this because it is still curious of why he would do this, period, just to do a WrestleMania announcement. Like, you can put that in a press release and then you can hype it up on the show. I understand if you have The Rock there to do it, like it makes a lot of sense for The Rock to do it. But I also don't think you just need you're just going to utilize The Rock in that way. Why would The Rock just do this announcement outside of he's The Rock, which sure makes sense. But I think there's a legitimate chance they set up something with Roman, and the story being Roman lost last year to Cody. He has the Ulafala. He's the real tribal chief. He's the only tribal chief. And The Rock is disappointed that he lost to Cody. And they can do the match that they didn't get to do last year.
Could easily be that. He could point out that the last time WrestleMania was in New Orleans, Roman Reigns lost. And they'll be like, I'm going to make it 0-2. And that's later on. If you do want to do it next year? Are we kind of teasing that Reigns Roman is a year's Reigns Rock is a year away?
No. I don't think they do the whole Cena build where it's like next year WrestleMania, it's me and Roman. I think they do it for this year because The Rock can't plan a year out at this point. He's about to do our Scorsese film. He can't do a year out of stuff here. Oh, and you still have Rock and Cody to get to if you want to do that for next year.
They've already buried that. It's fine.
Well, that's also the crux of the Roman story. Roman comes out and is like, "You're glad handing with this dude." Like I didn't want him on my team. He inserted himself into our business, and then when I got done with him, kicked him aside. You just came out here and said, "You carrying the company?" What do you mean he was carrying that? I was the one here the entire time. Cody came in on my coattails. Came in from that other place. And while we were already hot, he saw we were building over here. He wanted to get on that way. What do you mean he was carrying the company? You know who was carrying the company. All my hard work. It was all the hard work of the bloodline. So Roman can take shots like that about The Rock's promo from Raw on Netflix.
What if he comes back to dress down Solo Sikoa? Give him shit for showing up wearing a turtleneck last week.
No one would care.
Oh. So he did Raw and he kind of buttoned things up with Cody for now. And then he did a little sidestep in with Roman, right? He was part of the angle at the finish where Roman got the Ulafala back and they stared, but there was no physicality, just a little bit of tension. This is kind of what I'm getting at when I say building in a year apart. I'm not saying you announce the match. That's not what I'm getting at. It's more the idea that you continue to build some sort of tension while doing your little WrestleManias coming back to New Orleans type of build. There needs to be something to open up that gate. Like you said, though, we don't know the Rock's schedule, and Rock might not know his schedule. If something massive comes up in terms of filming, he will take that, regardless of, he's doing Scorsese now. Well, what if Spielberg comes to him and says, I want to do something next year? Like, I don't know. But the point is, he doesn't know his schedule that far out. And I don't know where his priorities are. As much as he likes wrestling and as much as he has the bug and sits on the board, maybe his priorities are to win an Oscar or win that next accolade. I don't know. So something will happen tonight that has some sort of bearing on next year's WrestleMania without outright announcing that this is a match we're going to do. But it should start a tease.
All right. Now for the fun stuff. Those are all legitimate things that could happen. Again, I do think we'll get a WrestleMania announcement. I think there is a coin flip chance we get a Roman tease, a match for Roman tease. SmackDown's 3 hours. The Rock knows it's 3 hours now, or at least somebody's got to tell him this. I hope he uses the whole 3 hours. Who could possibly care about these other wrestling matches they got going on this show? Give The Rock the mic. Let him cook for all 3 hours. Let him curse up a storm. USA Network, they bleep shit at 10:58, but 11:01 you can say fuck. I don't understand it. This is The Rock, though. Let him get away with whatever he wants to do. Let him just call everybody out. Oh, CM Punk, you think you're about to main event WrestleMania? How about off is a direction you can fuck, and you can fuck off out of the main event of WrestleMania? Drew McIntyre, you want a main event the WrestleMania? John Cena, this is your last WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes, oh, you finished your story last year. Oh, Cody finished his story. All of you off that direction. Fuck that way. The Rock is here. The Rock is main eventing WrestleMania both nights. He's gonna wrestle himself.
He should be on commentary for 3 hours.
Just the
But-
Rock's in the main event, just cutting promos the whole time, burying the whole show. Yeah, multi-women match. That match was trash. That tag team match, trash. Intercontinental Braun Breaker, trash. Just burying the entire show. That's the main event of WrestleMania.
It's the Rock stand-up hour featuring Kevin Hart, my best friend. It's like the NBA All-Star game, but better. Don't ask me how. I don't want to see any of this.
I hope he takes up the full 3 hours. I hope he has a dumb people's title as well.
Oh, he
He's
will.
like,
He will.
Like this is what we're fighting for at the main event of WrestleMania. This Elimination Chamber match. You guys don't want to face Cody. The winner of the Elimination Chamber gets a challenge for the People's Championship.
CM Punk comes out and is just like, I quit. I'm out. I'm using my favor to not have to do this match. Paul Heyman comes out and he's just like, are you sure? And CM Punk's like, shut up. Don't even think about it. Do not let me have this.
I hope The Rock steps on CM Punk's favor. I hope he mentions that. He's like, oh, I heard old Philip has a favor from Paul Heyman. Phil, what is your favor? Well, it doesn't matter what your favor is. The Rock takes that favor. He rolls it up real nice. He shines that sumbitch up. He turns it sideways and sticks it straight up your candy ass. No more favor from the wise man, Paul Heyman. You thought you were going to main event WrestleMania? No, he ain't main event WrestleMania. You thought you were going to main event SummerSlam? No, he ain't main event in either night of SummerSlam. Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania next year, WrestleMania 10 years from now. Anytime you think you were that close to main eventing WrestleMania, The Rock is going to be there. He's going to be haunting your dreams and nightmares, Meek Mill reference, to make sure you never main event WrestleMania. That's the real story. He just takes out CM Punk from every main event in WrestleMania history. CM Punk thinks he has WrestleMania main event this year. It's the last match. It's the advertised last match. And then The Rock just comes out at the end and gets into an impromptu match with Eric Rowan and beats him in 3 seconds again. And he's like, that's the real main event right there. CM Punk never actually main evented WrestleMania because I beat Eric Rowan in 3 seconds again.
He should just bring out Paul White and be like, remember this? Remember this? This is the main event. And he just beats the shit out of Paul White. Ring the bell. The Rock says ring the bell. This is the match now. CM Punk just crying in the corner. I thought I had the main event. The show's still on the air. We can do this because it's Peacock. We can be as live as we want. Netflix doesn't care. Oh, this would be awful, but I'm all about it. Matthew Hook saying, Rock coming back just to make sure women get less time. It's a 3-hour show. Come on, this time we got to do something. I know it's not going to do anything. I'm not kidding. Kim Gray saying, behind on the show, told Bo last night Rock was coming back, and he said, better not be a baby face.
Depends on your perspective. If you're not a CM Punk fan, he's a baby face.
CM Punk is very shades of gray. He could be a baby face in your eyes. I don't know. Listen, you might cheer him, you might boo him by the end of the night. But Tenruza says, Jeremy, you look like you need a new Terramana for WrestleMania.
Old Philip comes out there. Rock's like, what is your beverage of choice? Phil's like, well, I'm straight edge. That means I'm better than you. Rock's like, no. Do you like Pepsi? You have a Pepsi tattoo. Do you want some Pepsi, Philip? And Phil's like, straight edge. I'm better than you. And The Rock's like,
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. This is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
and he gives him the mana. He says, "God damn, that's good shit."
Do you think he can get CM Punk to take a shot with him?
Absolutely not. Punk's very. I respect Punk because he's very much of. I'm staying straight edge. So
He's done it. He's done it one time in his life. Do you remember the story where
it was Raven.
He drank for somebody. Wasn't it for Terry Smothers or was it for Terry Funk? There was a whole story as to why he did it.
I thought they did the story with Raven where Raven like dumped alcohol on him.
No, that was Jericho did that too.
Oh, Jericho did it, but I think they used fake stuff in WWE.
Harley Pritchard told the story. It's Harley Race's birthday, and CM Punk took a shot of whiskey. It was the only time and the only person he would do it for. So there you go.
Well, if The Rock offers him the Terramana and he turns it down, that's the test. It's a test without CM Punk even knowing it. Just take this shot of Terramana. And CM Punk's not going to do it. He's like, you just failed. You're not ready for the main event of WrestleMania. Because a true main eventer would have taken this shot of Terramana. And then if he like actually does do it, he's like, you just failed. You just broke your straight edge belief and took this shot of Terramana. Punk loses either way because they can't main event WrestleMania.
You're a sellout. You can't sell out arenas. You want the main event? Drink the whole bottle. That's how you main event this show, by the way. You drink a whole bottle of Terramana. It's fine. Tender's adding in if it was here in Australia or the UK, the C word everywhere. Just be The Rock calling people C words over and over again. He would love that. Tender's also adding, I want Gabe Kidd on the mic more than Rock. Well, there's a reason why Collision was pre-taped this week, because you give Gabe Kidd a live mic. You might have to edit a little bit too. I don't think he cut a promo for the live crowd though.
Yeah, I don't think he did. At least that wasn't in the spoilers. He just wrestled.
Should have given him a live microphone. Just got to do that.
I mean, I agree. That would have been great, but
it's true. And then also from Tenerife saying, Tessa with that Harlem heat. Rock needs to come in and mess things up with a live mic. So good. Our Lady P's playing the Bang or Whatever again. Love you. That went around. So another Canadian band, Our Lady P's, they decided that they're going to start playing the song Whatever again, which was Chris Benoit's theme for most of his career until the end. And they decided that the song, which is about mental health struggles, they want to take it back. They want to play it. They're on an anniversary tour, and they said that they want to make it about mental health struggles. They want to make it a positive song instead of what it's been known for, unfortunately, for the last 20-ish years. And they played it for the first time live last night. They were in Calgary, and that's the story with Our Lady Peace. It's a song that honestly, like, I'm glad they're doing it. I'm glad that they've decided that this is their art that they want to take back and repurpose for the reason it should have been in the first place. It sucks when you can't showcase your art for reasons like this. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, they said they want to reclaim it, and it's their song. It's very unfortunate and tragic that it was used for a theme of the guy who committed double murder and homicide or suicide.
Yep. And Tenerife is adding, like, it's a great song. It is such a good song, and I'm glad they're taking it back too. So yeah, it'll good for them. I hope that it works out, and I hope that they're happy with making that decision. Seems like they had a good start with it.
Yeah.
So will The Rock also dress down Austin Theory one more time? Maybe he should come out. He should have The Rock come out, dress down Austin Theory, and be like, by the power vested in me by the WWE board, I'm doing one thing for the fans tonight. A-Town Down Under, you're finally breaking up. We've heard it. It's been 6 months of this shit. It's over. Austin Theory, you're going back to Evolve. March 6th on Tubi. That's where they're going to find you. And you, Grayson Waller, we'll figure it out. But you're staying here. But Austin, good luck to you. And then that's it.
I was legitimately thinking about this is Grayson Waller, I don't care about Austin Theory. Is Grayson Waller gonna be part of this segment? Because Grayson Waller's an easy guy to play off of who doesn't mind making an ass of himself and putting over the older guy in this case. The Rock story is not anything to do with Grayson Waller. When he did that one-off a couple of years ago, Austin Theory made sense because they were doing the whole thing with McAfee as well. So I don't think Grayson Waller or Austin Theory is going to be involved here. But I was thinking if you like actually want to work with somebody who isn't Bloodline adjacent, then Grayson Waller would make some sense. But they're going to keep the Bloodline stuff going if they do with anything. Is Theory not on SmackDown? Did they get moved to Raw?
Yeah, they moved the tag team, but the brand split's not a thing. You got Liv Morgan coming and working tonight. So like, what are we doing? Who could possibly care?
Yeah, people are saying Grayson and Theory on Raw. Yeah, Liv Morgan's working on SmackDown tonight. This thing ain't real.
Yeah, you just show up wherever you want. Dressing down Mello during Black History Month is a choice. Let's not do that. Although Mello could get that heat. It'd be fun.
He would eat up Mello. I
He
don't know
would.
if that'd be good.
Tama Tonga interrupting and doing the yeah, right in the Rock's face.
Imagine if like Jacob Fatu just murders him, just completely destroys him.
So there's a part of me that thinks they might do something with Jacob Fatu and The Rock just to like, not heat check, but just like get that reaction. Because they know that there will be a reaction from the crowd. It'll be a moment. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, if not a face-to-face in the ring, then a face-to-face like backstage, they run into each other. And Fatu's just like, I respect you, or like, I respect you, my tribal chief, or my whatever he calls.
No, it's Fatu. It's got to be, I love you, final boss.
Yeah, something like that. But they need some sort of interaction. I think that would be fun.
I respect you. No, come on now.
Just like a head tilt. And then on Rock's Instagram Live, they'll do a shot.
I love that The Rock just goes on Instagram Live after he does his promos and just keeps talking shit or takes shots with people. Sure, why not?
I will never will I forget after his NXT appearance where he goes up to Lola Vice and Lola Vice introduces herself and he's just like, "Oh, I know who you are," and then proceeds to not know who she is and pretend. Oh, those are the best stuff. Over under The Rock, how many shots before he gets into his truck and drives away?
Before? I mean, he's already done like a couple before he goes out live. So, he's doing at least a couple more once he gets to the back and everything. But is he going on last? He can't go on last.
He's going to open up the show. Yeah.
Yeah, he should open the show. Let him go as long as he needs to. He's The Rock. You got 3 hours. They ain't got that much announced for this show. Like, it'd be fine.
What I'm trying to think, like, what if they announce something like commercial free first hour, then The Rock is opening the show.
This isn't good, by the way. So last week they announced DIY and Pretty Deadly for the tag team titles, and they announced Jimmy Uso and Drew McIntyre. And then last night, Nick Aldis, before the Rock news broke, Nick Aldis announced Bloodline against Cody, Priest, and Strowman, and Liv Morgan against Naomi. Well, guess which match is missing from the official WWE.com preview?
Liv and Naomi.
Liv and Naomi.
Oh no. It's a 3-hour show. Come on.
And we're an hour into this show.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. This is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
And here we go. Damn, that's good shit.
I really hope that it's an oversight, or even more, I hope that it's like, I don't know, maybe one of them is under the weather and they couldn't make it, or someone like, I hope there's a reason and it's not, we're not going to do it anymore. Such a bad look. There's been enough bad looks in the women's division lately. You can't do this shit. You can't. It's got to go back up.
Here's another fun fact for you, Joel.
Oh dear.
That Nick Aldis tweet that they put out,
it has since been taken down.
It has since been deleted.
I really hope that they're just changing the match. God dang it.
I do hope that somebody was like, lives on Raw. We said the transfer window was closed at Royal Rumble. Maybe we shouldn't do this match. on SmackDown. I hope that is the actual case instead of The Rock came in and was like, women on this show? Hold on. Unless it's Ava. I don't know about all this. Or Rhea Ripley. She's carrying the company, you know?
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to bring up Lola Vice for a match tonight. Who? We thought about Jada Parker. That sounds more like it. Who's she? Where's that trick fella? I just don't see. I don't see any reason to cut that match unless, again, someone's under the weather. You can't. You got to do something. Yeah, you got to do something. I don't know what it is though. Like, what's
maybe the match will still take place. Maybe we're all just overreacting to this. Maybe it'll still take place. But curious marketing of deleting tweets and not promoting it.
Yep. If they don't do it, I really hope we just find out someone was sick. Where's that Ethan guy? Tap his ass and tell him to go. Get out there, you little whippersnapper.
I think Ethan Page shows up and The Rock's like, who in the blue hell are you? Well, my name's Ethan. You told me you were going to see me on the main roster, Mr.
It doesn't matter. That would be awful.
Dude, The Rock rules. It's so good that this man is involved in wrestling again. Coming in here, this last minute, swinging dick, changing things, swinging Johnson, changing up the whole card. Rules.
Proud to announce WrestleMania is now a one-night event again. We're going to pack all 60,000 of you twice into the venue. But Dwayne, it only holds 50. I said twice in the venue.
Sitting on top of people. Like, we're selling 2-for-1 seats. What does that mean? That means you buy one seat for two of you.
We're going to get real comfy cozy in Las Vegas, baby. Let me say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, The Rock's making sure everybody knows.
The Rock's the best, man. I can't wait for tonight. I'm so excited for this show. The Rock adds just like that extra layer of like, what the hell is going to happen on this show? You know, Raw on Netflix was a disappointment. I thought he was going to come out there and he can final boss. He can start burying people. Instead, he's like, praise these billionaires. Like, okay, shut up, Rock. I'm already giving these guys my $20 a month when it used to be $10 a month like two weeks ago. I'm already giving these guys enough money. I don't need to praise these billionaires. Oh, Cody and Roman carry. Okay, I watched the product. Knock it off. Knock it off, Rock. I need the final boss, Rock. I need it. I hope he does fuck up someone's life tonight. Need it.
It's gonna be someone so lower card you're not even gonna realize that they are. It's gonna be like the Garzas.
The Rock doesn't know who the Garzas are. Rock's like LWO shirts.
Which one of you two is Juventud, huh? It's not 99. We can't do casual racism on the show anymore to the work. 2-for-1 seat is an easy way to make a friend. I was at that venue for SummerSlam in 21. You don't want to do 2 seats in one. I had comfy seats too. You don't want that.
I mean, you know, it's how you gotta pack them in there.
Just love the idea of the 2-for-1 seat. It's so stupid. Oh, but it'll be fun tonight on SmackDown. Don't get upset if he comes and just does the Mania announcement and then dresses down like the most undercard of undercard wrestler. That's fine. Get hype if he does something with Roman or Paul or Jacob Fatu, something like that. Get hype for that, but keep your expectations low, and then by Monday you'll be ready to joke about it with us on the show. It'll be fun.
My bar is the WrestleMania announcement. That's it.
Yeah.
Truthfully, not expecting anything more than that. I don't want to get my hopes too high of like, oh, The Rock's going to do a bunch of cool shit. My bar, like, he's going to make the WrestleMania announcement. But if we get more, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Right now, I'm saying Rock is going to pull an Edge and jump Punk during Elimination Chamber, win the whole thing. He should cash in his People's Championship belt for the real one. Cody, you wanted to hold this again? No takesy backsies this time.
Cody's on the show tonight. He's wrestling. Like, Cody should come out and like say something, right? Like, Cody should legitimately interrupt him and be like, dude, you little brothered me. This is Raw on Netflix premiere. You had me sit front row so you could be like, hey, look at this. Look at this kid over here. Good job, brother. You did great carrying the company. You're a great person, Cody Rhodes. Look like a dork on the Raw on Netflix. I'm the undisputed champion. I'm not your little brother. I beat Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania 41. 40, whatever WrestleMania was. It was 40 last year. I beat Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania 40. I'm going to beat you. We should slap him. They should trade slaps.
They should. Yeah, just a little.
It's like slap fight.
Now do me. Give me a taste. Excellent. It's a Simpsons reference for those who don't understand.
Yeah, I got it from your Mr. Burns impression there.
Excellent. What if he comes out and has a thing with Kevin Owens? You can't portray your best friend like that. What's wrong with you?
Oh, dude, Kevin Owens would kind of murder him on the mic, honestly.
Be fine with that.
I don't think The Rock could go toe to toe with this version of Kevin Owens. His little jokes ain't working against KO.
The idea of Kevin Owens coming out there going toe to toe with The Rock, and Kevin Owens who presents as like, I am the most meta aware WWE wrestler, and he gets to say like, you came out at the Netflix premiere and you ruined a bunch of stories. You screwed everything up. That alone would make the interaction well worth it between KO and The Rock.
Like, oh, now you're coming out here. Now you think you got to save WrestleMania because you've already screwed things up at the Raw Netflix premiere. Here comes The Rock. Just like last year, we were doing fine without you, Rock. You just want to come in here and ride the coattails and just ruin all the plans and then take all the credit and leave again. The Rock's just sitting there. He's like, what is happening? Who is this guy? Hey, The Rock knows who Kevin Owens is.
Yeah, I do think he knows.
Okay.
Because I mean, Kevin Owens he's main evented stuff. He's bloodline adjacent. He's been involved. I think he would know who Kevin Owens is.
I don't think The Rock pays attention to that stuff.
No, I think he pays attention to when his cousin did a full ass feud, and his other cousins did other full ass. Like I think he's aware of Kevin Owens.
Rock's just like, aren't you the dude who my cousin beat every single time?
There's gonna be that. He would be like, who? Don't you have a give me some popcorn while you're there. Get The Rock some popcorn.
I just assume The Rock doesn't have a clue who any of these people are, honestly.
He knows who Stu the cameraman is and like 3 other people. That's about it.
Yeah, he has no clue who these people actually are.
Michael Cole, you look different. My name's Joe Tessitore. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Where's old Pat McAfee? Where is he at? He recognizes Barrett. I feel like he may have worked with Barrett a little bit. Nexus guy, Nexus, right? Hey, you guys were great. That match against John Cena at SummerSlam. That was fan. You guys didn't win that. What happened there?
Did he work? I don't think he worked Barrett. I don't
think he worked
Rock
Barrett.
was gone at that point.
Yeah.
I gotta look. I'm 99.9% sure because Rock was done by like 2007. 2004?
Rock's just like 20 years behind on everything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's no Rock.
No,
There's
he
no
didn't work Rock at all. No.
Closest he would have got was Stu Sanders versus Rocker Richards in UK 2005 for the IWC European Heavyweight title. That's about it. Who's that guy? It's just that's the first hour of Raw of SmackDown. It's just The Rock being like, "Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?" But it's because they're in New Orleans. It's going to be him doing "Who dat? Who dat? Who dat?" over and over again.
Jimmy comes out. He's like, "Yeah, Jay, yeet."
God dang, you can't do that. You can't do that. Ten Russo adding, "Want Punk to go wild? Get WrestleMania 29 flashbacks." That's been the ongoing joke, right? Like The Rock finds out that CM Punk wants the main event. He's like, hold on a minute. Let's just wait here for 1 second. That seems to be the going conversation. Maybe you do a Punk and Rock interaction because people are in the know of this.
CM Punk's on Raw. He can't show up on SmackDown.
Liv Morgan is allegedly showing up on maybe not anymore.
The transfer window is closed, Joel.
It's drafty in here. You gotta close the window. But when God closes a window, he opens a door. So welcome to the Intrabrand door. And it just opens a door and you walk through. Who needs a transfer window when you've got a door? Who needs a baron when you can have a king?
Drew McIntyre interrupts The Rock.
It's not a bad idea. He should be wanting to get after The Rock because of the whole, like, he's after Roman Reigns in the bloodline. So maybe Drew does come out and do something, but then he gets bitched out by The Rock.
He gets his sword that The Rock gave him. He's like, you gave me this sword. Oh, that's a terrible impression.
Why is he doing Shakespeare? You gave me this sword, my liege.
You gave me this. I can't do like a Scottish accent. You gave me this sword, and now I'm going to decapitate you with it. Murder. That's what I'm advocating for.
Now I'm going to decapitate you with my sword. Rocky, you gave me this when I re-signed with the company, but now I hate this company, so I'm going to kill you. And you would just stand on your high. You'd be like, yeah, let's go.
The Rock's done a movie where he's had like a sword, right? Wasn't he in Conan or something?
I think he did.
I'm just completely making that up.
I'm pretty sure he did Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah. The Rock's got his Conan sword, and Drew's got his Scottish sword, and they just have a sword fight in the middle of the ring.
My wife now asking, what are you doing in there?
Absolutely nothing. Are you kidding me? We've accomplished nothing on this show today, which means it's been great.
Yeah, you don't want to know. Ryan Adams adding, Rock's a KO. The Rock knows you. You're the guy who can never win title matches at the Rumble. Where's Adam Pearce? I want to talk to bring out Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce, remember the time you were supposed to face my cousin Roman Reigns? We're going to do that match. We're going to do it at WrestleMania. That's the main event. Rock just comes out wasted. He's on a bender. It's been 3 days.
And drinking Alamana.
Yes. That's why he's doing this show. And he's just like, I'm going to fuck up WrestleMania. And I'm going to do it right now. And it's Bender Rock. And I'm not talking about Bender. I'm talking about like messing shit up Bender. Like intervention Bender Rock.
I don't think The Rock was in Conan, by the way. He was in Hercules. It doesn't appear he was in Conan. We're if nothing else, we're going to be accurate on this show.
Valid.
He wasn't Scorpion King. Do you have a sword in Scorpion King? It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Did an episode of Star Trek where he was one of the Klingons, wasn't he?
I mean, he's in Fast and Furious. I mean, you just bring out the guns. Like, oh, you got a sword. That's great. He breaks the cast and then just whips out one of his guns. Hell yeah.
Tenors is asking where's SmackDown tonight. They're in New Orleans, which is why the prevailing sentiment is that The Rock is going to announce that WrestleMania coming to New Orleans next year, and that's why he's on the show. And
all right, Tenors is asking the real important question. They're in a crack town. What's the crack rate in New Orleans?
Actually, I was going to follow up on that, but yes, what is the crack rate? Where are we? Louisiana crack rate. Oh dear. Well, I'm surprised the CDC is allowed to operate with this. Drug overdose mortality by state. I only have 2022 numbers.
Oh no, hold on. Crack was detected as a major hard drug of abuse in New Orleans, 40%, significantly higher than the national median of 30%. So it sounds like it's got a pretty high rate.
Now go home and smoke some more crack.
Just the way that he says it.
Dude, rolls.
Oh man. The peak year for cocaine was the 90s.
In like Bourbon Street. After the show, are you guys gonna go out there? You're gonna have your little drinks on Bourbon Street. You're gonna smoke your crack on Bourbon Street. All the homeless people on Bourbon Street begging for another beer, begging for another grenade, begging for another pipe. That's it.
Oh, okay. You kind of just dropped it there. I wasn't sure what was going on. You
can't overstay your welcome on this, Joel. You know, you got to hit the mark.
That's true. Hit your mark. I just thought you were ghosting that whole thing. Speaking of ghosting, should we talk about old Shane O'Mac?
Who cares? Let's keep talking about The Rock.
You know what? This is how we're gonna transition it because I think because of this report about Shane O'Mac being ghosted, I think The Rock should be like, I got a friend here tonight. And all of a sudden, here comes the money, and out comes Shane O'Mac,
Oh,
and he just comes out. He's like, "Yeah, I'm here, baby. I'm here. I'm Shane O'Mac, and I'm here to wrestle." And The Rock's like, "No, you're not. You're just here to prove a point for The Rock." That should be the segment. It should be The Rock and Shane O'Mac doing something.
oh, that would actually rule. Would love Shane to appear.
The Rock
Shane's
doesn't
on the-
ghost you. The Rock responds to your messages, right, Shane? Yeah, he gives you full equity in your ideas.
Shane's on the TKO board. Would be awesome.
I'm all about it. I need Shane to show up tonight just to swing that bullshit meter over this way. Oh man, this episode is awful. It's actually one of our best.
I don't think Shane should be on SmackDown tonight, but it would rule if he was. Who would Shane face at WrestleMania? The Rock's like, and in night one, it's Shane O'Mac against Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. And night two, it's The Rock versus Roman Reigns. There's your WrestleMania main events, everybody. Shane and Cody against The Rock, and then The Rock and Roman Reigns.
I feel like you should do Shane versus a leapfrog. They should just do a rematch of Shane and Miz. Miz is looking for something to do at WrestleMania. Right now,
Yeah.
it looks like Andrade, but that's also 3 months away. So, you know.
They ain't doing that at Mania.
Could you imagine if they just turned Miz and Andrade into a tag team and they win the tag titles, just like Shane and Miz did at Royal Rumble in 2019?
They're not doing that match at WrestleMania. I don't mind a Miz and Andrade tag team. That's different. That's something fun. I can get behind that.
We've already done Miz and Shane at WrestleMania.
Hey, they should run it back, brother. Was that a Mania match?
That was a
Yeah.
Mania match. Oh, it was.
Okay. I can't. Oh, that's right, Mr. Miz. Hell
That's right.
yeah,
George.
dude. That's who Shane should face at Mania. Old George Mizanin.
How is
Comes out-
George? He comes out of retirement.
Yeah.
He's been retired this whole time.
Put your dukes up, see?
He's a 1930s boxer.
Hell yeah. Oh, I need that match now. As Shane comes out and then he just gets interrupted by Mr. Miz. Didn't say anything, just goes like that. And Shane just stands there and The Rock's for some reason in the center of them, just chilling. And that's the whole 3-hour show. Just a still shot of them. They don't move for the entire 3 hours of SmackDown.
The tableau just for SmackDown. It's high art. You wouldn't understand it, wrestling fans.
Hell yeah.
Tenders is saying SmackDown getting SNL Rock to celebrate SNL 50. We get Snoop at WrestleMania. Dude, Snoop at WrestleMania is almost a given, but you know what? I don't really care about Snoop these days.
Yeah. And it's on 420 in Las Vegas. Snoop will be there.
Oh, his body will be there. His brain will be 40 hours up in the sky. Oh man. All right. Should we talk about this? The Shane O'Mac stuff?
Wow. Sure.
FIFA Select did report following up on a report from the summer of 2024, where Shane and Tony Khan met in Texas, very famously. Gave us one of the best photos of all time on this show. Just for those who needed a refresher. On February 20th, Jonathan Coachman was doing his show and basically surmised, I took that down. Basically surmised that Shane O'Mac was ghosted by Tony Khan after Shane asked for a little too much in their deal. Not Sean. I'm trying to catch up with the story. I got a little ahead of myself. But yes, the idea was that Tony Khan may have ghosted Shane McMahon. And no one took it personally. It was just one of those. They had a business meeting and things didn't work as planned. And that's it. Easy peasy story. But really, the main part here is TK ghosting Shane McMahon. Professional Tony Khan. What happened? Why isn't Shane McMahon on my TV screen every week, Jeremy? What happened?
Dude, I hope Shane McMahon came in there and was like, we should put the title on Jericho. And Tony's like, well, he is the ROH champion. No, the world championship on Jericho.
Well, he is. He's the ROH world champion.
And even Tony's like, that's a bridge too far, brother. Like, I gave him the ROH title, putting the world title on. That's a little bit too much at this stage of things. Like if Shane McMahon actually wanted some type of creative control in the company, and Tony was right for not going along with that. I think that's dumb. I don't think Shane McMahon has any product knowledge of AEW. And even if he did, when is Shane McMahon some creative genius? His ideas pop me. Him wanting to beat the shit out of Brock Lesnar and eliminate him in the Rumble. That rules to me. But on the whole, I don't think Shane McMahon is this great creative mind where he was going to turn things around. Like, I think Tony was completely in the right of, yeah, I don't need this dude getting involved in creative business here. So,
When the story dropped and you and I did our thing and we talked about it, the serious component to our conversation was, what does Shane McMahon bring to the table? And the belief was, like, he does have not necessarily the creative knowledge, but he has some of the business acumen that that comes with being involved with wrestling and then other ventures outside of wrestling. Whether they were successful or not is another story. But the point is, Shane at least has some connections that maybe Tony doesn't have. Tony's very well connected. Tony's very well made in his world. Maybe Shane had a couple of extra doors to open, but if it was an overreaching of what Shane expected in return for those opportunities, then yeah, it makes sense that Tony would just say, yeah, okay, good for you, but we don't need you. And that's it. It's a business meeting. Not everyone takes these things seriously or takes them, they don't take offense when someone says no. They just move on with their day. It sounds like that's what this was. But with Shane, I love the idea that Shane would do a cameo and they'd start like, yeah, someone mentioned AEW Underground. They've got the Hurt Syndicate now. I would love for Shane to be like, and here are my people, the Hurt Syndicate. And they just run roughshod all over AEW Underground.
Shane McMahon's greatest success in the world of sports entertainment is something that never happened. Shane McMahon's greatest success is wanting to buy the UFC and Vince saying no. It was something that never happened, but Shane gets all the credit of, see, look, Shane was so smart to think this was a great idea and Vince turned it down. Vince didn't see the vision that Shane did. We don't know what Shane would have turned the UFC into. We don't know if it'd be the same UFC as it was today, but because it did blow up and because Shane was the one who proposed this idea, he gets credit for something that he actually did nothing with.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you were going to say the best thing he never did was, or the best thing he ever did was the match against Kurt Angle where he gets smashed through glass a bunch of times.
Sure.
I mean,
the best thing is truly the
match against Tess where he goes flying off the SummerSlam set.
That ruled, but Mean Street Posse was also great. That wasn't SummerSlam. Steve Blackman was SummerSlam.
Oh, you're right. Tess was he was part of the end of that match.
I was there. I was there for Shane McMahon and Steve Blackman when he fell backwards off the scaffolding. That was a hell of a SummerSlam. That was the not TLC match with the Hardys and the Dudleys and Edge and Christian, and that was the triple threat match with Rock, Kurt Angle, and Triple H.
I thought that was TLC. I thought that was the actual first ever TLC. Because then they did WrestleMania 17. That was the second one. Because I know WrestleMania 2000 was what turned into tables, ladders, and chairs, but it was a ladder match. I feel like the SummerSlam one was the first official one.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, this is SummerSlam, 2000, right?
2000, yes. Oh, it was TLC. Okay, I apologize.
Okay, it's the first one. Yeah, not crazy. The Steve Blackman match, though, I love that. Getting him to do that spot where Shane is hanging from the top of the stage or from the top of the truss. Blackman just comes around with a kendo stick, hits him once in the back, and Shane just goes forward and backwards.
That's a good match. Yeah. This show actually ruined wrestling for me.
How's that?
So I was 12 years old, maybe 11 years old at the time. Yeah, 11. I didn't quite turn 12. I turned 12 in like a month. I was 11 years old at the time. And we had good seats for this show, mind you, but we still brought like binoculars so you could like see close up on the action and everything. So I used my binoculars during Jerry Lawler against Taz.
Oh no.
And Taz has like Lawler like mounted and is punching him. And Taz was throwing the least connecting punches via binoculars. Now look, maybe this looked good on television. Maybe it looked good if you did not have binoculars. But I had binoculars and I could see just how off these punches were. And wrestling was ruined forever for me.
He was throwing those creeper punches, was he?
Yeah. Again, maybe it looked good on television and like you couldn't tell at all on TV, but through my binocular eyes, they were missing by a mile. And I was like, wow, all of this is not real. And since then, I've hated wrestling.
And Taz. Big Taz hater, Jeremy Lambert.
Taz Hater Jones over here.
Commentator Joe. No Fist Jones over here. Ryan Adams adding Shane to Tony Khan. How about we sign Slater and Rhino, make them tag champs? Worked in 2016 for SmackDown. Hey man, Slater and Rhino were a great tag team. Those were the best segments they ever produced. Going to Rhino's double wide, the Cheez-Its on the crackers, hilarious stuff. That stuff was the best part of SmackDown 2016. That and like the 3 production things they added and then subtracted by the next week. Cameras in the audience. What the fuck is this? Get rid of it. It was so innovative. Anyway. Yeah, listen, if Shane wanted to show up in AEW, I'm sure they'd do a thing where they do a cameo. I know they're open to this, but business-wise, who needs it? It's fine. This is the one thing that I'll add about the whole like Tony Khan ghosting thing. Something that I know Sean talks about a lot, and other people do too, is just some of the lack of communication that goes on in AEW. That's why this story is not completely like invalid or completely unbelievable. Because I don't think that ghosting means in this case that he just like flat out just out of nowhere. I think that there was just a vibe and then it was over and nothing came from it. Like how many times you send an email, you don't get a reply from a wrestler, from a professional standpoint. It happens. That's kind of what I feel like. And yeah, again, there's enough talk about AEW needing to work on how they communicate. This is possibly just one of those times.
I think if Shane really cared and he really wanted to be involved with AEW, he would get online a lot and say how much AEW sucks, and then he would get Tony Khan's attention.
He should do a spot on Busted Open. Shane's Corner. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. Hate that Will Ospreay. That's how my phone's ringing. We're live on the air. Let's take this call. Hello.
Just a bunch of flips. Where's the story with Will Ospreay?
Speaking of Ospreay, the comments from MVP that got people all up in their feelings. Did you see this?
Yeah, I wrote it. What do you mean? Did I see this?
I don't know. Because, listen, there are multiple people who write for the site. Sometimes I know you do a lot, but sometimes someone else picks up some of these things. The idea of MVP talking, he basically said, I told Will Ospreay that the bump card is real and that you don't need to do all these moves all the time. I think that MVP was right. I think he was right to give that type of advice. Whether or not Will wants to follow that is his own decision, but let's not pretend like Will Ospreay himself hasn't talked about, toning down his own style and doing things differently in like 2022. Like this isn't the first time he's heard it, but people got real weird about this. And you know what? Shout out MVP. He's given advice. I don't think he overstepped. I think it's good. It's good advice to give, and it's what all old timers give the new crop every step of the way. Don't go too hard every time.
In the words of Alanis Morissette, it's the good advice that you just did.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. This is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
And here we go.
It's like rain. Or you're supposed to say, God damn, that's good shit.
Damn, that's good shit.
Thank you. Yeah,
I didn't have a problem with what MVP said. That was a really good interview that he did. There's a lot of material that I ran a lot of articles on, but the Will Ospreay stuff I thought was correct. honestly. Like, you don't need to go out there and do all this for these television shows. The bump card is a real thing. Save some of that stuff. It'll be okay. It will be okay. But Ospreay's going to wrestle the way he's going to wrestle, and I don't have a problem with the way Ospreay wrestles. I also think people are too critical the other way of, oh, we can't do this style forever. He's gonna be in a wheelchair by the time he's 30 with this stuff. I think people are too critical that way as well. Ospreay's toned down his style over the years as he's put on weight, so he doesn't do as much of the high impact, high risk stuff that he did when he was younger. Ricochet kind of the same way. So I get where MVP's coming from, and I also can understand why Ospreay is going to continue to wrestle that way. And Ospreay typically breaks out his bigger stuff for the bigger matches. He'll save some stuff when it's just a Dynamite match. Continental Classic being the exception because Continental Classic. But he'll save some of the stuff on just a regular match. No, I understand what MVP was saying. I think other people could use that advice more than Will Ospreay.
Darius in the chat saying, why does nobody have this talk with Darby?
Like, everybody has this talk with Darby.
I think it's one of those, like, no matter,
Honestly.
man. It's just let it exist. It's fine. He's okay, and he's not meant for this world long term anyway. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Darby comes to work with a countdown, and everyone's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah, I think everybody has that talk with Darby, honestly, and Darby's just gonna do what he does because he's Darby Allin. And like Darby says himself, he's like, people tell me this stuff. I'm in the cryo chamber. I do a bunch of yoga. I feel good. I'm super healthy. So more power to him. Will it catch up to him later in life? Potentially. Maybe it won't. Maybe Darby is built different.
I think he kind of is.
Yeah.
He's figured out how to go limp and just do his thing. It's hilarious. The man is like a car crash legend. Gets hit by a bus, comes back to work. It's wild.
Darby rules. It's a shame that he has to climb Mount Everest and derail the story of winning the AEW World Title.
Exactly. If I give you a chair, would you hold it awkwardly for me for a good 30 seconds while people
look at Joel going into what he hated about Dynamite? Can't say anything nice about the MJF and Hangman Page segment.
Get there. I just wanted to get the fun stuff out of the way first.
Can't say anything nice about the Ricochet and Prince Nana segment. Has to go straight into, wow, that Thunder Rosa segment was really awkward.
I just needed to talk about
old AEW hated Jones over here.
Yeah, that's right. Take it, Taz. Go ahead. Oh, man. You know what? Megan Bayne and Chris Statlander had a solid match. It was good stuff. I really did enjoy it. Did not expect Penelope Ford to come out and continue whatever she's doing with Megan Bayne. I think it's hilarious that, Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford are being worked together while Joey Janela is just sitting in the back being like, all right, okay. He's not back there, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, Joey's chilling at home. He's tweeting about the show.
Yeah, he's great. So either way, at the end of the match, for whatever reason, you had Thunder Rosa come down to make the save because Penelope's out there trying to take down Chris Statlander, and they get into this weird, awkward chair thing. And I hope that Thunder Rosa explains it somehow on Busted Open this morning. Don't know if she will.
She's not on the show this morning because I actually looked at.
Oh, she's not.
That. Yeah.
Well then.
Yeah, I was gonna listen to it from 9 to 10 to see if she said anything, but she was not on the show. Maybe she does a cameo later on in the show. Don't know. Obviously, I've been doing this show, so I've not been keeping up with their show. But I know when they were promoting stuff this morning, she was not listed as one of the hosts.
All right. Well, eventually they'll talk about it. Someone will ask about it, but yeah, it's just awkward. It's one of those funny wrestling things where everyone just kind of stands around and that person has a chair in their hand.
I don't know what was supposed to happen. Maybe that Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford were supposed to exit the ring. Maybe Thunder Rosa was supposed to hit her. No idea what was supposed to happen. All I know is it wasn't good for Thunder Rosa. Like, she did not come out of this looking well.
No. Henry adding TK put that there, so Joel had something to hate.
Yeah.
It's true. Otherwise, like, again, it was a solid episode of Dynamite. I think the only other funny thing that I pointed out was now Kenny just has the international championship because he just didn't give it back. Takesha didn't take it back. The show ends with Kenny holding the belt and putting it on the ring, and it's just like, so Kenny has the title now? Because that's what this whole Revolution series is. It's for the right to face Kenny Omega for the international championship, which Kenny wins. But yeah, Orange Cassidy's back. Had a solid match with Roddy Strong. I don't know if this should have been the main event. This was that's the one thing I have to say about it is whether or not this should have been the main event. Probably not. So otherwise, fantastic.
What would you have the main event instead?
That's the problem. I'm trying to think back to the rest of the show. Who opened? That was MJF. Honestly, you could have done a hot MJF and Hangman promo to end the show. Could have done that.
This was the main event because it was Kenny coming out at the end, though.
Yeah, but it was Kenny coming out to like make the save. That's the whole thing. It's like I don't know what could have been the main event. We even talked about it. Oh, the street fight you could have argued could have been the main event because there was maximum like carnage. That was a show a few weeks ago, but like that would have worked.
That wasn't a great street fight, though. I mean, it was good.
No, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't great.
There was no streets.
This episode was a lot more talk than it was match. So yeah, they had to. This really was the only thing that worked.
Lack of streets in the street fight.
Fair. I'm looking at the rest of this. Oh man, the Jericho promo. He's gonna start calling himself Chris Funkin' Jericho.
That was a good promo.
Sure, he's upset now. He's angry.
And he's gonna beat Bandito on the show. People watch rules.
And so now I'm back on my Powerhouse Hobbs wins the ROH championship train because if they're doing the Bandito match already, I have to assume that is the outcome. But
well, there's no ROH pay-per-view that they're building to.
That's true.
Because they don't have anything announced for Mania weekend if they do anything. So like when's the next ROH pay-per-view?
Would they no? Trying to think like what would they do? Because
they should do I think SP3 mentioned it. They should do a show Dynasty weekend. Dynasty is on a Sunday. They should do a ROH pay-per-view on a Saturday.
So I'd be fine with that. I was gonna say, would you do something all in weekend? But that feels I don't know what else they're doing for all in weekend.
That's too far away too. Yeah. Like you're just gonna have placeholder television until then. Everything already feels like placeholder television, so I don't need more of that.
Yeah, so they need a big ROH show because right now also they were doing what? They showed Global Wars on Monday and then they showed the Lucha Madness episode this past Thursday last night, and before that was the Jericho Cruise stuff. So like it's just kind of feels like some things are on hold with Ring of Honor again.
Yeah, the whole promotion's been on hold since Tony Khan purchased it.
Bryan Danielson's rolling around in his grave.
There's nothing really going on that show. I love that like the 3 people that have watched this show hate it completely. They message me all the time like, I hate this show. I'm like, all right, what do you want me to do about it? I don't book it.
Tell your best friend Tony to redo everything.
Just can't stand this show. Like, all right, sorry.
Oh man, Dan Riz is adding. Revolution Week should be a staple ROH show. You could do it like that. I mean, it's March, but as long as they're not running Mania weekend, especially this year, there's enough going on that I don't think you would need to run an ROH pay-per-view.
I'm not opposed to them doing on Dynasty weekend. As Henry says, they're in Philly this year, so Philly is always a hot ROH town. So I'm not opposed to them doing some Dynasty weekend. Like I said, when SP3 brought it up, you want to do it, you want to do a Saturday show, fine. Do not do a press conference. That's all I'm asking. If you're going to do a Dynasty press conference, I don't need an ROH press conference on top of a Dynasty press conference. I just don't.
Maybe they'll do if they do a show, they'll do it at 2300 Arena. Feels like that would be where an ROH program would happen.
Yeah.
Unless they do twice, because they've ran Liacouras Center for for Ring of Honor. So they could do 2 nights there, but I don't think they want to necessarily. Oh, I like the idea, but Philly would be a right spot to do a Ring of Honor show. I just don't know when, other than that weekend when they're in Philly. Where's the street fight? Where's the Philly street fight, Jeremy?
Philly, you big dumb bitch.
I do like the idea of pairing New Japan Strong with ROH. That's not a bad call, but they need to make it very obvious that like it's not New Japan, like it is the strong talent that you're going to get with ROH. Otherwise, you kind of run the risk of undervaluing New Japan as a partner to AEW.
Remember what it seemed like they were going to do? Put more New Japan Strong stuff on ROH, and then like nothing ever came of that.
Yeah, well, that's kind of par for the course. So I didn't hate the street fight, by the way. I don't think people hated it per se, but I understand why some people thought it wasn't so strong. But like I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good one. It didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome. The finish was very interesting. Having Big Bill go through that table, and he was like legitimately stuck with that barbed wire around his arm, his bicep. You could hear the camera. Sorry, the camera didn't catch it, but you could hear it in the audio, and if you were listening on headphones, where he was like saying, like, I'm effing stuck. I'm effing stuck. So yeah, he just couldn't get out of there. But I thought it was fine.
Well, yeah, that was the finish. I legitimately thought like when he went through it, he didn't get stuck in it, and then he just kind of put himself in it because that was the finish. Maybe I'd have to go back and rewatch it and see if he got like stuck in it there, but I just thought it was part of the finish. Oh, and he sold it well. Big Bill's good.
Came in wearing his Timbs as he does.
Lack of streets in the street fight though. They need like Streets of Rage style street fights. You ever play that game, Joel? Play the Streets of Rage?
Yeah, of course.
The dude on the roller skates, he rolled. Just fucking people up and like kicking people with roller skates. That shit would hurt.
The one thing about going outside in that venue, I don't think it was conducive to being able to work outside. Did you see how deep? Did you see how deep that audience went? Like they had a row Z going on. Like they had a row double Z going on. Can't get outside that easily.
Figure it out. It starts outside. This is my pitch. The street fight starts in the streets. If you end up in the ring, fine. But it starts in the streets.
They should fight on buses.
I'm fine with that too. So here's what I pitched to Darius Carter. It starts in the streets, and then you run your opponent over with a car.
And you can't do that. That's a TNA thing to do. Can't do that. No, you win, but like then they got to come back to life.
I don't have to.
I got to do that. That's fine.
I don't have to. You just, murder.
Tender's adding, Goto is champ for the U.S. New Japan shows. Rule. It's going to be so fun. I think it'll be fun. I said it on the show on Wednesday. I have this sneaking suspicion that Takesha is going to win that IWGP World Heavyweight title. Possibly a Forbidden Door, if not before.
All right.
He's got the contracts, baby. Yeah, it should be a Darby thing to get hit by a car.
Darby also smashes cars. Like,
true.
He tried to do that against the Death Riders.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
I feel like he hurt himself more than he hurt the Death
Did hurt
Riders.
himself more than he hurt anyone else. Thank you. That's why you don't bring cars into the equation.
Well, Darby, he's not a great driver. Doesn't appear.
As long as no one gets a forklift or not a forklift, gets a scissor lift and then falls from the scissor lift down onto the floor of concrete. Deep cut 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
All Out 2020. Sammy Guevara, Matt Hardy.
Oh, I'll say there's been a few forklift incidents. I was thinking of Austin and Triple H, where Austin tipped over the car and then Triple H is back on TV like a week later and he just had like a bandage, but he was all good.
Survivor Series 2000.
Yeah, and then Samoa Joe was off TV for like 8 months after going through a wall on a forklift. Then he came back and he's like, what's Hook doing?
I've given that so much shit. I just can't believe that they haven't done Jericho. If they're going to Mimosa Joe versus Jericho for the Ring of Honor Championship, as like a revenge thing. Give it.
I like how they're the
Hobbs.
ops, never lacking. It's like you were lacking for 8 months, and then you came back, and you're not even going after the dude who put you out of action. You are kind of lacking, honestly.
Just want to point out, I'm not the one shitting on the show now, am I? Double shit take Jones over here.
I said nice things about AEW on yesterday's show.
That's fair. Now you get to ruin the show. Tender's adding Jack Perry coming back in New Japan Chicago shows with the Young Bucks. I don't know if the Young Bucks are coming back to New Japan that quickly. They literally won the tag titles and then dropped them first chance they had. They aren't on AEW TV. I don't know what's going on with the Bucks. I don't know if I really care enough to find out. But like the only member of the Elite right now is Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because he just got to kick people in the dick.
Jack Perry should just re-show up as Jungle Boy and forget that whole stuff ever happened.
Honestly, when Luchasaurus comes back, when he's ready to go, just have him show up with Jungle Boy. Just retcon the entire like 2 years. Just go back to Jungle Boy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Have Taz singing the song. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, that's right. He was singing Jones over here.
Just forget the whole scapegoat stuff ever happened and just bring back Jungle Boy.
He doesn't speak anymore. He's just a boy in his dinosaur. Marco Stunt's sitting in the corner being like, that could have been me.
That's what I prefer when it comes to Jack Perry. Is I don't know. The Jack Perry stuff happened and it felt like nobody really benefited from it.
He should come back as Jungle Boy, do a whole thing where he doesn't speak, and then turn on Luchasaurus. And then he's just like, I was doing what Tony Storm did. And then everyone will be like, rip off, you suck.
Nah, you don't have to do that. Just come out. Like the Jungle Boy music hits. Everyone gets really excited because they all love Jungle Boy. They're all doing the, and then like, that's it. You don't do anything else with it. You just don't even mention that the Jack Perry scapegoat AEW TNT champion existed. Because I mean, it's not like they think the AEW TNT championship exists, you know.
It was a gas leak year. It's fine. Oh man! Speaking of Tony Storm, I thought that was a really good promo from her.
She railed Mariah May with the biggest package ever.
Yep. Women of wrestling, lend me your ears. Because whether you're Chris Statlander or Willow Nightingale or Wendy Richter, I'm not hard to find. For God is a woman, and her name is timeless.
It's a shame they won't be able to pay off the Wendy Richter thing, because that would roll. Maybe they will. Maybe
she could be someone's manager.
No, Tony Storm needs to beat her.
Fair, with the small package.
I hope they're able to pay it off at some point. I don't have faith that they will, but I hope that they truly are able to, because it kind of rules.
Mariah May should bring out Wendy Richter at Revolution. I'm assuming that we're doing Mariah May and Tony Storm again.
Yeah, it looks like that way. And you're going to get some type of street fight or some type of brawl match out of it.
But it was a great promo. Again, doing the spotlights gimmick for Tony, it's little things like that work, and they're in a theater, which is perfect. Like the show's already happening in a theater, so you can make it that impactful or that like that showy with Tony. I thought it was good. I don't want Tony to be so good that everybody else in the division pales by comparison. I get that, you gotta work to get over, and Tony is absolutely over with the crowd. Like, people love her, she's a champion, and so on and so forth. But like, someone who beats her has to have the credibility of beating her. Do you know what I mean? It can't be a shock moment or like you didn't expect it to be this person unless they're being built that way. I'm curious as to who can feasibly take the title off of Tony Storm. It's probably going to be Megan Bayne, which I don't hate that.
Harley Cameron. I need a Harley Cameron like Tony Storm extended gimmick there.
They'll do a concert together. Do you think Tony can sing?
I think Tony Storm can do whatever she wants.
That is fair. I would let that happen too. Okay. Sorry, there was
Okay.
some disturbance in my office.
There's a disturbance in the force.
Well, that too.
Is
Marina
your wife
Shafir,
trying to crash the show?
she's trying to put chairs in here while she runs a vacuum.
That's not what. We're live, pal. That's a different
Yeah,
show.
that's what I said. That's Tuesdays at 4.
Is it?
Yeah, allegedly.
Oh, I don't know when Andrew Zarian does these shows. He does a lot of shows.
I had to explain to my wife that we are in fact still live, pal.
Yeah. What?
Anyone watching that?
Yes. Yes. For those wondering, she asked.
Allegedly people
Allegedly.
are watching us.
Yes, we are still fan based. We're doing okay. All right,
Do you want to sing some more for her?
No, not
I
at all.
assume
No, she's heard enough.
cowardly.
Ricochet. This was solid. It was a good promo.
Why are they feuding over a robe, Joel?
Well, the robe is not very important. No one's really. Why aren't you explaining? Why didn't I get a 90-second video package about the robe and its importance? I'm kidding. I do enjoy that they actually have brought it into the story and explained it better than they have in the past. It's good. The segment itself was solid. Again, Ricochet is beginning to really prove more and more that once he found a character that he can not only believe in but also work with, that he's very good at this. This has been his best presentation. I have a feeling that Nana is going to side with Ricochet and leave Swerve.
Wow.
Yep. I don't know if that's a hot take. I don't know if you guys talked about that yesterday as being a possibility, but it felt like Nana's going to end up going with Ricochet.
Prince Nana's going to cut a promo of like, Ricochet let me sell weed in the parking lot, so he's a much better friend than you are.
Ricochet buys all my weed. What do you do?
Well, then Swerve's like, you should never get high on your own supply. So that's
Yeah, it
actually
doesn't matter.
friend.
Make your money. It doesn't matter. Everyone's just out here trying to survive, and Ricochet is willing to, pad his pockets.
I thought the Ricochet promo was good. I thought Prince Nana's portion of it was good. This stupid of, if you're mad that they're feuding over a robe, I'd say the same thing, feuding over the bracelet. In wrestling, all of these feuds are over something tangible. It's how much importance you put on these tangible items. If this robe is presented as having more value than a championship, maybe that's an issue with the championship. Maybe you should present that better. But that's the story. A championship has just as much value as you want to give it. It can have just as much value as a robe or a bracelet if you want to put that much importance on it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But having something tangible has been the crux of so many stories throughout wrestling history.
Look at Mariah and Tony. The shoe became a very big device used in their story. Little things like that. A bloody shoe became part of not only the story coming into the turn for Mariah May, but also coming into the return for Tony Storm, right? Luther comes back and serves the shoe. That's fine. The bracelet, again, anything that you put an emotional investment towards, you're going to get a segment of the crowd who are going to be bought into this. Not everyone's going to be bought into the robe because they don't necessarily understand its importance, but maybe they will down the road. It's up to AEW and the storytellers to make you care more and more, make more people care about it. Same thing with the Olafala, same thing with the bracelet, same thing with the shoe. It's how you preserve and protect it and show its importance to the audience that they get invested into it. Now, with that said, I kind of flippantly said, like, why do they do a 90-second? Blah, blah, blah. This being the first time that they've really made the robe a main character, it's a blessing and a curse because Swerve's been wearing that robe for a little while and they never really got too far into its importance to Swerve and Nana. They've explained it a little bit, but they've never done they've never done a lot with it. Now they're making it a big moment. Now it's time to bring it back and explain to people why this matters, which they're doing. Again, like Nana comes out and explains this robe means a lot. It doesn't belong to you. This is something that is decades of history, and you're misappropriating. You're taking it away, and you've stolen it. It's not yours. But I feel like again, the story will continue with Nana being like, you do deserve it. You encompass everything Jimmy Rave was, and I'm giving you the robe because you deserve it, and that's heat right there. But again, if you want people to care about it, you got to keep telling the story the way that they've started doing it this week. And I think that's good. It's a positive direction. Big fan of that. If they do it.
I like this segment. I don't know if Prince Nana needs to turn on Swerve, but maybe.
You gonna cry, Nana? We all have emotions. Tender is adding, bringing EJ and Duca with Swerve. He's amazing. I would like to see it. We talked about this too. Swerve and EJ training on camera.
Yeah,
Don't
until
know.
like that actually happens, I'm not putting anything into it. Like everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people have been saying it. There's been loose ties, but they have not actually done anything to make me believe that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Someone had mentioned, didn't they tell the story when Nana? So they did. They've brought it up. It's just now it's time to hit the gas on its importance again. Because if this is going to be your device for making the feud hotter, then you got to keep doing it. It's a bit of a, you got to remind people over and over again because you don't know who's watching. You don't know what week this is in the feud. So this is more of a cautious example. It's not a, you got to tell them every minute, or you give them a video package or they won't know who he is. I don't think it's that, but I think that the more history and the more importance you put on something like this, the more the story makes sense to more viewers and also shows the investment in a company where they have a lot of titles and not all of them are as important. Like Jeremy was saying, it's only as important as you make them. And this is one of those things that should be more important when you have all those titles to work with.
That was not an AEW criticism, by the way. That is also a WWE criticism because they got too many damn titles. And if they're going to make an Ulafala or a bracelet more important than these titles, then that is their choice as well. All these companies got too many titles. Stop it. No more titles. Abolish all of the championships.
Except for this one.
Abolish them all.
Well, yeah, and then when Jay wins at WrestleMania,
that one I'll allow.
Yeah, that's the only one. I realized that the tree that's in there that's from the green one, the greatest Royal Rumble title.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think that's the greatest Royal Rumble title belt.
Okay.
Yeah, is there anything else from Dynamite that you want to hit on? Because again, it was a very talk heavy episode. We should probably talk about the MJF and.
I've talked about that enough. You can talk about it.
No, you know what? I'll just put it very plainly. I thought it was good stuff. I like that this wasn't MJF just being an inside backstage piece of shit. It was more him actually focusing on what the story is in front of people, what the history is between him and Hangman. I like that it wasn't just the low hanging fruit MJF. Like it was different. And I don't love every minute of it, but I'm happier to see MJF be a character asshole than be a shock jock asshole. This was good stuff for that, and I hope they continue to do that. I fear they won't because it is MJF and he can't help himself. But if they decide that they're going to stick to what you see on screen is what matters, we have a history. It's been 5 years. They've been in the company the entire time together. They need to focus on that. But I thought the segment was good. I'd like them to stop doing the security gets attacked after a segment and they got to do the pull aparts and all that. I think I'm ready to see kind of a moratorium on that. Don't do it for like a year, whatever it is. Just get rid of it for a while because we've seen a lot of it. Our pal Sean, what's his face? Sean Logan, who was on our show. We had him on and he had done some extra work for WWE. He did the Hell in a Cell where he looked like he was baked. He was on the show recently again, getting beat up as an extra. So like
he should fight back.
He should. He's been on the show so many times. He should be able to go and say, hey, fuck you guys. I'm done here. But it is what it is. Normally when Dynamite opens with a long promo, people aren't a big fan of that, but it looks like the general consensus was this was a hot open.
Now that was a really good open. And I said it on yesterday's show. I like that MJF had material that wasn't just low-hanging fruit material. I thought both men delivered a strong performance, and I look forward to their match at Revolution.
Absolutely.
I gave more insight elsewhere if people want to go watch that stuff.
Yeah, go watch the spotlight from last night. Go watch the episode of In the Weeds on Thursday morning with SP3 and Jeremy.
I do too much audio.
This is just me batting cleanup on AEW stuff at this point. That's fine with me. Let's talk about more TNA. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
What else is there to talk about with TNA?
I don't think there is. There's again Tyson and Tyreek. They're going to win those NXT tag titles. Obafemi showing up was a big deal. They're going to do a 6-man, and with the Hardys and Obafemi teaming up, I thought that was neat because the Hardys are going to be on NXT taking on No Quarter Catch Crew, and that's going to be a very fun match. But yeah, it's the crossover stuff. This is where I put it over when it comes to working with talent. The reason why I keep saying Tyson and Tyreek are going to win the tag titles is because they are an example of making the most of the opportunity to go to TNA and work with the talent. They're working with the right people. They're getting over in the right way, and they're developing their character and their story. They have not really been on NXT very much. And as a result, when they come back and they're demolishing people, it will be more impactful. I think that this is the best case scenario for these guys is to be working in TNA, working with the talent they are, like Wesley and the Rascals on the other side. It's good for them. This is the example of positive partnerships between WWE and NXT and TNA in this case. Yeah. SmackDown preview.
We already previewed it. The Rock's going to take up all 3 hours. Who cares about the rest of the show?
That is true. They're doing okay, never mind. Sorry, I was trying to pull up the actual thing while you spoke about what's happening on SmackDown. 3 hours of The Rock.
Yeah. Who cares about the rest of the show? 3 hours of The Rock, brother.
DIY versus Pretty Deadly for the tag titles.
Nobody cares.
Drew McIntyre versus Jimmy Uso.
Nobody cares.
No Yeet. Tama Tonga, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Braun Strowman, Damian Priest, Cody Rhodes. What if The Rock is the special guest referee for that match?
Nobody cares.
God damn.
I need the nobody cares drop from Britt Baker. I need to make that.
That's true. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And
that was the last we saw of Britt Baker.
That was the last. Well, now she's just reviewing Shamrock Shake. So
yeah,
really,
that content kind of rules actually.
And there might be a match between Naomi and Liv Morgan tonight, but that is TBD. Announced, pulled down. We don't
I think
know.
this whole show is TBD until the Rock's promo finishes, and then they see how much time they have left, and it's like, all right, what can we do now?
That's fair. I got to redo the thumbnail or the things. Well, we'll do it later. Oh, anything to plug?
I don't think so.
It's Friday and we've already been doing it. So you want to do one last time?
I've actually had way less today than I was planning to have. I was gonna finish the whole bottle. I still got a little bit left. I'm not gonna finish it. So we'll have more for Monday's show or another show. We'll celebrate The Rock coming out and taking all the WrestleMania main events. And if someone wants to be kind and ship another one so we can continue this bit until the end of time, please do.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. This is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
And here we go. Damn, that's good shit.
For Jeremy Lambert, I am at Joel Pearl, thejoelpearl.com over on Blue Sky. We're back on Monday talking about everything The Rock did or didn't do. We'll be back 10 a.m. Eastern. Check out Coexisting with Rob and Megan later this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. See you in the next one. Cheers.